Welcome, Nitin.
Thank you. Hi, Nandita.
Hi. And so PR communications, again, campaigns, content changing a lot post-COVID, external communication, internal communication. How do you see it panning out?
Well, I think honestly, communications has been more business critical than ever before at this time, especially because companies or corporates or anybody for that matter needs to communicate more than ever. And when I say communications, communications needs to be we need to communicate early and often. We have to be honest and transparent, empathetic at the same time. So it's never been more business critical, honestly.
Right. When we're talking about corporates, brands, it's not just like we said, to external audiences or external stakeholders. It's also about how it's going out in your own ecosystems as well, right? What kind of shifts are you seeing over there, for maybe a manufacturer, or or for brands, for their own employees? How are they navigating this space?
I think you have to be firstly, the communication begins with your own people, right? And I think you have to be honest, empathetic, and transparent with all of them. Uh, and when I say empathetic and transparent, most of the people, most of the companies tend to, say, okay, we'll wait for clarity before we communicate. I think in this environment, we need to communicate even if we are not sure. And I think being honest and making a mistake is also okay, or saying that we'll come back to you is also okay, and then changing a decision is also okay. So everything is fine at this stage. I mean, I remember when we were going to work from home, um, on, I think it's a Wednesday, we said we are evaluating, and on Friday we said we're going to work from home from Monday. Yeah. So we change the decision 48 hours. It's fine. I think the more you communicate, the better it is. A great example recently is I read the note of Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb. He wrote a letter to all employees. I think it was a really good letter. It was in which he announced redundancies, actually. And it was full of empathy, transparency. It had a lot of respect and courtesy for people who were leaving. It reflected the company mission. It was very clear on benefits of people who were leaving, who were getting, and most importantly, it was very transparent on how and why they had come to that decision. So I think that's really what's need of the hour today.
Transparency, being upfront,
totally,
being honest.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I would like to ask you, before, you have a couple of case studies, I know, that, it's like a business case for WASH, like we call it, that how water sanitation and hygiene, if incorporated well into, your organization, your manufacturing, supply chains, just giving examples, it takes care of a lot of things. And, do you think that post-COVID this is going to happen with organizations? It's not just the corporate offices, but it's where your factories are. It's yeah. To your.
Well, I really hope so, Nandita. I think, but I actually feel that this is not going to. I don't think we're going to get a vaccine or a cure tomorrow. Yeah. I think we are in this. We have to live with COVID for at least, I hope, lesser time than whatever, but at least for 6 to 12 months. And in that time, I'm very confident that I think there will be a development of a habit of better hygiene amongst all of us. Right. If it's 100% today, then it won't drop below 80. I hope. I think inculcate a habit of better hygiene.
Right. Lot of brands, lot of nonprofits, the government doing a lot of content campaigns, dishing out information on health, hygiene, on personal hygiene. And like, Jitendra in his previous session said, it's the community also taking, now being in the forefront to, take the lead. You'd like to talk about that?
Yeah, I think the community is taking the lead as well. I think, firstly, from a corporate perspective, I think most corporates have to lead by purpose. If they're not going to lead by purpose, I think customers are not going to forgive them for that. I think everybody's watching, and therefore, if you see a lot of corporates today are living a lot of their purpose, and I'll come to some case studies to highlight a couple of those examples. The community, absolutely. I think there are enough examples of communities coming together to highlight some of the social causes, whether it starts from our own RWAs as a community to people walking on the road and seeing people without a mask and ask them to wear a mask. I think it's all part of that community um, awareness that everybody's telling each other to be careful. So I totally agree with that, and I think that's, in my view, that's a good thing, because I think tomorrow, after a year, when this is behind us, hopefully, some of this will remain, and we will get better. We'll be better socially aware of a lot of things, and therefore that awareness will kind of continue for a while.
Yeah, but it takes a pandemic for
I
us.
think the pandemic to help make us wash our hands properly, I guess.
Yeah. So, would you like to share the case studies?
Yeah, sure. So this is a case study of WaterAid. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
But I think the idea here really was the WaterAid's focus on on WASH, and we can see that in their projects and campaigns. So we've been working on campaigns and disseminating content around social media on WASH, like a fundraising campaign we did around COVID, which is about to start any day now. We've also seen a massive growth in digital platforms. So I think that's something very important. I think so. Today, everybody is doing a lot of screen time, whether we like it or not. We have to, whether it's for work or for entertainment or for, I guess, for kids for studying. So TikTok, OTT platforms like Hotstar, Z, they're a great way to connect with your audiences today, and we're using that a lot for for some of the campaigns of WaterAid, whether it's on COVID or anything else, whether it's releasing reports on water scarcity, whether it's a fundraising campaign, whether it's any highlighting any on-ground work. So we've experimented with all these top platforms in our campaign. So that was WaterAid. If you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So the next example really is about Niti Aayog. I think in these times, Niti Aayog, through its Composite Water Management Index, they've been a fierce advocate for water conservation for a long time. The early phase of India's lockdown actually coincided with the onset of summer. So, to create the awareness about the judicious use of water, we created a campaign around that. Right, that's one. Secondly, I think a lot of education has happened through social media on message of washing hands at regular intervals, and also around the idea was also to use, I heard you speaking about the last mile. So while I know a lot of tweets will not go to the last mile, but a lot of videos on WhatsApp do go to the last mile.
Right, yeah.
A lot of those videos were created to go out to the last mile to encourage people to wash hands better, turn off their taps after washing hands, conserve water at the same time, wash hands. So, put your soap, rub your hands, maybe switch off the tap at that time. We've done a lot of work with Niti Aayog on the Aarogya Setu app as well, highlighting benefits, encouraging downloads, and talking about safety and privacy, which I guess the debate is still on that. But I guess there's an app and we need to, I guess, use it. So there's a lot of work done on with Niti Aayog on that as well. Next slide. I guess one company which is in the thick of things is RB, the guys who make Dettol. And I think they've done some really interesting work, and rightly so. They have a product that is industry leading, and they product wise they needed to take that leadership position as well. And I don't mean leadership position through through advertising, but it was more through campaigning around some social messages. And this is when I said companies leading by purpose. And here's an example of how RB did that. Right from a hand wash challenge, which actually broke all records on TikTok, to be honest. Like you said, it takes a pandemic for us to know how to wash hands. So on TikTok, it actually broke a record on this hand wash challenge, aiming to raise awareness on 4 simple steps of hand washing. The fight against COVID, of course, they pledged some money. But more importantly, on ground, we kind of worked with another NGO called Bikers for Good, where we kind of raised awareness of importance of hand washing across different groups of people, right from villages to rural areas where these bikers were going. So it became a really large campaign which worked really, really well. Um, we also got partnered with the Economist Intelligence Unit to create a kind of a myth busting website for them. So just to close on the TikTok thing, it garnered 95 billion views on the campaign. It was crazy.
Wow.
Uh, that's the kind of social media traction you're getting today for certain brands. The next slide is an extension of what they do on the hygiene side, which is with their product called Lysol, which is really one of the disinfectant brands. And we kind of moved that conversation. We said, people are using Lysol for their floors, but we said start using Lysol for surfaces such as tabletops and kitchen counters and door handles, and use it as a disinfectant there. So, and we, of course, the company pledged 1 million liters of Lysol to support frontline workers as well across different healthcare institutions across all the Indian states. So, start using. There are multiple uses of a product you can do. There are multiple variants. So start using that as well. So we kind of move the conversation over there. The last case study really I wanted to highlight was on Pernod Ricard. Now, um, they are a brand that, it's a liquor brand. The first thing I think they did globally was used their own facilities to create sanitizers. They have the core raw material, and that helps. But they did a lot of sanitizers, but more importantly, I think, I like companies when they go beyond what is easier for them, to go beyond and say, what does India really need is ventilators and more ICU beds. I think that was more important, and we kind of highlighted which are the states that needed most, and that's when those things kind of started happening. Whether it was masks and sanitizers, whether it was ventilators, ICU beds, collaboration with Akshay Patra Foundation to contributing to 4,000 meals a day for migrants and migrant workers and daily wage earners. A lot of those things were done is still being done by Pernod Ricard. So the campaign is working, is ongoing for them right now. So just to wrap up, I think these are some of the things that companies are doing, and I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's about companies about leading with purpose. And when I say leading with purpose, I actually mean that there are two things that companies need to be careful about. One is there's a new brand loyalty, which is, coming out today. And more the public today expects brands to take a stand and back up its values with meaningful action. And there's been multiple studies. We did a study last year, which actually said that brands can no longer survive by being faceless entities. They have to have they have to provide solutions, and they have to stand up for issues and care about the societal, environmental, and ethical issues, and take action against them, right? So one was this new brand loyalty was coming, that are you taking action? And secondly was an aim for mutual respect, right? That mutual respect piece was that, I'm a customer, I know what's good for me, and trust me. So the idea was for companies, trust your customer, don't worry, they know what's best for them, and engage with them in a human way. So, eventually the communications therefore needed to be aligned with purpose. Tap into the new brand loyalty. Purpose, I think, can be a big brand lifesaver for a lot of increasing customer loyalty today.
Absolutely right. Like leading with purpose is gaining a lot of prominence, and I think post COVID or post this pandemic, a lot of brands will realize that as well, because I think public consciousness has gone up and awareness has also gone up. So even if they have to pay a little more, I think people are willing to do that also for a lot of brands.
I actually believe that if you take care of the purpose, growth and profits will follow on their own. And I think it's the idea today is to convince shareholders to agree on that, basically.
Right. One question I want to ask you is that in terms of communication channels, if I just divide it into, India versus Bharat, there are so many mediums, and there are so many audiences that we have within our own ecosystem to reach out to. What kind of trends are you seeing? Like you mentioned, there's OTT platforms, there's digital is offering so much, and yet there is, rural India, which is, and you have to reach out to them in their language, in the language that they understand, on themes that you want to communicate on. How do we simplify that? I think a lot of us get, we get, entangled in our own words and, definitions. How do you deconstruct it to reach the last mile?
I think, so two things. I think firstly, the digital medium is important. I think with a lot of penetration of broadband and mobiles in rural areas, what's coming out as a strong medium of reaching out to people is WhatsApp, or basically messaging platforms. And within the messaging platforms, short, smart videos is the message forward. I think the key thing to worry about really is misinformation. Yeah, I think that's the key worry really. How do we ensure genuine, real news to people, or real messages to people, and not which doesn't get tampered on the way, right? I think that's the big worry. But the big medium to reach out is messaging platforms and video formats in this day and age. Of course, as and when people can start moving around, there are the other traditional means will come back to life. I think we're all social creatures. We all want to meet each other eventually. So that'll happen. But at the moment, I think while the social medium is on, which is the regular social medium of different social media platforms, but video is the key platform in my view, key tool.
Also, another part is tonality, right? When you're communicating on issues, and like TikTok has made hand washing like a dance challenge with music and all otherwise, but that always cannot be done, and it's for a certain set of audience which is on that platform. But how do you have the tonality which is engaging enough, and which is reaching out to a vast variety of audiences? Because if you want change to happen, like COVID has made hygiene and hand washing because it's a necessity, it's our first line of defense. But when it comes to water, and when it comes to sanitation, or access to clean water, even we, living in cities, when we have ample access, we are not careful enough, and that behavior change is tough. You keep promoting about it, you keep talking about it, but translating it into action is always tough.
It is tough, Nandita. I mean, of course, whether it's videos or whether it's using one of the other mediums I didn't mention earlier was community radio. Right. I think community radio is a big, powerful medium today to use, and I think a lot of community radios are doing some really fantastic work. And I think that's a great forum for messages to go out. I think apart from translation in regional languages, apart from using different formats, whether it's entertainment formats or to give messages, behavior change will remain an issue. Also because of scarcity of resources. I think you go down to rural areas and you know it better than I do. I mean, water is a problem. Soap is a problem. So first we'll give water before we can provide soap, I guess, right? So, we have to overcome those challenges. So in a country like India, that will always be a challenge. But I can only take some comfort from the fact that I was on the road the other day, and, I could see everybody with a mask on. Right. On the road, everywhere, there people are wearing a mask. And, I had thought that people will not readily wear a mask. And I still see some people not wearing a mask. And I tell them, but I think it was a pleasant change on the main roads of Delhi. People, I didn't spot, I think maybe one odd person without a mask, but everybody's wearing a mask. So maybe it'll change. It takes time, but like you said, a pandemic helps us change, or the fear of life.
True. And going forward, one last question: do you see that brands and the government, of course, they're planning for focusing on more water sanitation, hygiene issues going forward?
Yeah. They are focusing more on that, and I think they've realized that for the next 1 year we have to live with COVID, right? And if we have to live with COVID, then we have to practice physical distancing. We have to practice better hygiene, whether it's hand washing or just sanitization of places. So absolutely, they will focus on it. You'll see a big focus on that.
I'll just read out a comment that's come from Soumya Jha. She's saying that community media should be promoted. Local authorities like Sarpanch or Mukhia, ward councillors should have enough materials for awareness in local languages. Being a community radio practitioner, it is also necessary to make awareness about saving water. So, right, what we were discussing.
Yeah, I totally agree, Soumya, on your observation. I think community media radio should be promoted, local authorities. In fact, I know that a lot of companies are using groups, so like in every village, there are the Sarpanch or the Panchayat has groups of all the villagers in a WhatsApp group and stuff, and they are passing on messages through that group. So it is happening in some way or the other, but is it a general practice? Probably not. And it's a great idea. We must do it.
So I was telling Jitendra in the previous session that we reached out through WhatsApp and through audio, very flexible formats to Last Mile, which could be spread, and disseminated as much as possible. So the platform or the medium didn't matter as long as it was flexible and reaching out to the audience.
Oh, I totally agree. And, I think I saw another question around children on the chat. I think we should use different formats. And I remember, Sesame Street working with children in Anganwadis, and they created a game. So, you can use a lot of, hand games, which are not expensive, can be on your mobile or on a screen. Special screens can be given to just enable children to understand and do it. So it can be across age groups. Right. Just good, entertaining content, which is consumable.
And translating into behavior and action. And
absolutely, of course.
Okay. I'll stop here, Nitin. Thank you so much for joining us for this session on content and campaigns. I'll move forward to our next speaker. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.